You're listening to What She Said on Canada Talks.
We are looking at Valentine's Day Square in the Eye this Friday the 13th. I'm Sharon Caddy with Kate Wheeler in studio for What She Said. And yes, you know by the music, it's time to welcome KathyBuckworth into studio. And Kathy, if you're looking at getting away Valentine's Day, are we too late?
You know what? You might be a bit too late to go anywhere far. How's that? But there's some great options for, staying in your own city or maybe swapping a house with someone you know who lives in a different city, do something like that. What I wanted to focus on today was, you're right, for Valentine's Day this year, maybe we're running a little bit late, but as we know, it's mostly about the thought. So maybe you could give someone maybe you can give someone a trip on Valentine's Day for later on.
Oh, that's a good idea.
A promise of a trip because it is tomorrow we're looking at now.
Yeah.
But one of the challenges I think we find when we talk about romantic trips or trips for maybe in particular parents who are just trying to get away from their children, but also just away, is that sometimes you don't want to do the same thing that your partner wants to do, your wife, your husband, spouse wants to do.
Absolutely.
So is there a way that you can have a romantic getaway, the two of you, if you don't want to do the same thing? I say yes. And the reason I say yes is I think what happens is, for instance, if you have a skier in the family, the other person doesn't ski, you never go to a ski resort. And I think a lot of non-skiers
I love spas.
Don't realize what a lovely environment a ski resort really is. First of all, it is a sport where people are working hard, so they want to eat well at the end of the day. Always you can find wonderful restaurants in ski villages and ski resorts. You hit the nail on the head, Sharon, when you talked about spas. Spas, because skiers are often looking for that massage or that, your skin is dry, you're looking for facials. Great spas.
And shopping,
absolutely. You're always going to find some high-end, at least outdoor clothing stores, if not some boutique-y type things. I did a tour of Interior BC of Sun Peaks, Silver Star, and Big White, and all of them, I had fantastic meals, great shopping, as you mentioned, spa experiences, etc. And I'm a skier, but if you were there without someone who still liked the cold weather, but didn't want to ski for whatever reason, snowshoeing, great sport, very popular right now. Another thing that's very popular is something called fat biking. It's not biking for fat people. It's actually bike, which would be okay. It's actually like snow tires on mountain bikes, if you can imagine that. So it's really thick tires. Wow. It's very big right now at all ski resorts, I found, because a lot of them do mountain biking in the summer. Right. So they have the trails built already. So again, just because one of you has always said, well, I don't ski, that's not going to be fun, it can be a lot of fun. And I actually kind of like the idea of going and doing your own thing separately during the day and coming back and talking about your experiences. You're not going to be talking about the kids, right? You're not going to be complaining about work, hopefully. You're going to be, really sharing what a great day you had. Other places that you can go, again, someone might say, well, I just don't want to sit on a beach. I want to do something. But maybe you have a beach sitter in the relationship. A lot of places actually have a lot of activities and sports that you don't realize. But you want to check that out because some all-inclusive sun resorts are just beach sitting.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, though, I've gone to a number, and the one I actually took trapeze lessons.
Yeah, was it Club Med?
No, it was a Wyndham. It was
nice.
in the Bahamas.
Oh, and I would only mention Club Med because I was just there a couple weeks ago with my husband, actually, and we could both either go beach sitting or pretty active, and we did like snorkeling, sailing. I was at the gym. We did all kinds of active things. There was tennis, whatever, but you could just sit on the beach.
I'm a world-class beach sitter.
So, yeah, I was going to say, but if you're with someone who says that's going to be boring or I want to do things, you can do things. There's day excursions, there's activities. Right. So don't rule out the whole setting just because you have a preconceived notion of what it's going to be like.
My husband doesn't like the beach.
Right.
He likes a pool. I like to be on the water on the beach. Well, he'll walk on the beach, after dinner or whatever, but he doesn't like to sit on the beach. He just doesn't like the sand. Yeah. So I'm
sort of with him, actually. I like to go in the ocean and walk in the sand right to my pool chair. But you got to find the place that has that, right?
Right.
So that can do and you can sit apart. It's okay. That's what makes you happy on your vacation.
He golfs. I play tennis. So we try to find, or I will go off on, he will go into town and look at things, but he doesn't want to do
maybe the same shopping or whatever.
So we split up the days.
And I think it's a good way to do it. And even, if you're talking about going, we talk about staycations or staying in town, which maybe you still have time to book. The Royal York has a great deal on right now. I was sort of going through some this morning in Toronto. But you can find things to do too, again. So maybe you just want to go to that hotel because you can go to the spa or you can shop around downtown. But your husband says, hey, wait, there's a big game on. I want to go to a sports bar. Or he wants to do his own own type of shopping or whatever. Again, I think sometimes going apart for those few hours and coming back together and talking about fun experiences instead of our day-to-day where we just come home and talk about work and kids, that is a vacation, and that can be fun to do, you know? So don't rule it out is what I'm saying just because of that. Spa-cations, I like to call them. A lot of guys I know, I wouldn't have a, you know, manicure or whatever. You know what? Give it a try. That would be a great Valentine's gift for a guy to say, I want to try that out with you, you know, and see if they like it or not.
Well,
or
a
get
lot of them have the men's grooming, the hot shave and all that going on.
And the hot shave, I understand, for guys is quite a lovely experience, right? So why not try that out? Again, so for this Valentine's Day, I think we're probably, you know, it's a little tight on time. It's tomorrow. But what a great idea to sort of research something and say, you know what, we're going to do it in 2 weeks or next Valentine's Day or whatever.
What about the Airbnb places? They seem to be
I love Airbnb, and I actually have one booked coming up in Blue Mountain in a couple of weeks. And what they are, for people who don't know, it's a huge network of people, and sometimes, you know, people who are managing accommodations who sort of put them on this big site, Airbnb, and you can find exactly where you want to stay, whether it's a flat, a condo, an apartment, and they have hundreds of thousands all over the world. What's great about doing it is if you're, especially I find if you're traveling with a family, is you can get a house or something where they have their own bedroom, you can cook lunch or dinner,
so
you know.
This is online then? You can find
online.
this?
And actually their Instagram account is beautiful.
Really?
I have to tell you, they post these Airbnb photos of like these jungle homes, you know, up a tree and everything from that to regular suburban homes. And so we rented a townhouse in Blue Mountain to ski for the weekend, which is just coincidentally a couple of doors down from where my son is living in Blue Mountain. So you can find places almost anywhere.
So this is it air like AIR?
AIRB, the letter B, the letter N, the letter B. So Airbnb. Go online and look that, and you'll be amazed how they are sort of across the world.
We're staying in one in Miami. Friends have stayed in Budapest, London, New York.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I looked up Martinique.
Yeah, I was talking to friends who say now when they go to New York City, they don't even look at hotels.
Yeah. Interesting.
They just stay and people. And the thing is, it's like going home because a lot of people. What I really like is a lot of people. It's not completely clean. They'll leave the herbs and spices, so that you don't have to, buy everything. And one place we stayed at, there was a note saying, you know what, use the foil. If you finish the roll, replace it. Right?
Yeah.
So it's there, and everything's there because people leave what they've used before.
It's also it's a unique experience. I know the one time that I did when I went to New York and we had the opportunity. Now it wasn't through Airbnb, but it was just knowing someone who let us use their condo, and you are actually experiencing life in residential Manhattan, which is you still go to all your tourist stuff, but you're experiencing a whole other part of the city you wouldn't see.
Living in their footsteps,
and
right?
going to the breakfast at the local diner in the residential area. It's quite interesting.
We did the same thing actually in London, England, during the Olympics. Actually, it was an awesome way to find accommodation when it was really busy. So, you know, if we loop that back to Valentine's Day, you're right. Maybe all the hotels are booked in the special packages, but check out really, you know, you might be able to find somewhere that's very romantic or different to go to through their website. And I said it is IPornLike Travel, their Instagram account as well as their, and you enter all your, I have a dog, I have a cat, or, you know, I have 2 kids and whatever, and all your criteria. And we had to change our date, and absolutely no trouble changing dates, that sort of thing. It's the process is quite wonderful, actually. So highly recommend that. And coming up is obviously March break. And so that's, you know, for a lot of families, a very expensive time to travel as well, too. So it's not too late to find deals right now. Just wanted to mention a quick one because I just heard about it. It's called through Flair Air, Hamilton to Kelowna, something $1,100 a person, flight and a week-long accommodation and lift tickets at either Silver Star or Sun Peaks. They're really trying to get people to ski the interior BC, and they're one of the only places out west that has snow right now. Whistler is it's only at the top right now. Panorama has snow actually, so anywhere sort of the BC and then into Alberta has snow. But if you're looking for a ski vacation, and Blue Mountain obviously has a lot right now in Quebec because it's so cold out there that the snow isn't melting. But if you're looking for a ski holiday at March breaks, lots of options still. So recommend that. I think the hot places are really booking up because it is so cold. So that might be a more expensive option right now. So So if you could sort of take either vacation, I'd suggest that a ski holiday.
And where did you find that again?
The Flair Air.
Flair Air.
And I don't have but I'm sure if you went to, if you entered that and entered sort of Hamilton, Kelowna, you'd find, and they're only doing one plane for March break out of Ontario, and the last I heard, the plane was already half full.
But
so
that's a really,
Google
considering
now.
everything that's in it.
Right?
That's a great
Everything
deal.
in it's a fantastic deal. And you can find ski places, that'll do packages with lift tickets and maybe some rental deals and things like that. So, shop around a bit and maybe try somewhere you haven't been before. I really liked Sun Peaks. I had dinner with Nancy Green. I'm such a...
Ooh,
I know, right?
There's
It was
a name
so
from the
awesome.
past. That's
She's
cool.
a senator now as well. And she's like 70 years old, and I skied with her husband, I think is older than her, and just a fantastic hill for all levels. Every chairlift, there's a green, blue, and black run. So if you're skiing with a family, you can stay together, but do your different levels of difficulty and then meet at the bottom.
That's neat.
So yeah, I was a big fan of that. But it is a journey if you're flying from Toronto. Obviously not bad at all from Vancouver. But so looking for deals like that where these resorts want you to come, and they're making deals to make it happen. So go on their websites and check it out.
Any word on what they call couples resorts?
Couples resorts. You know what? I have 4 kids. I haven't been to a couples resort in ages. I did, as I said, my husband and I we went to Club Med Cancun a couple of weeks ago for 4 days, and we went from a Saturday to a Tuesday. So again, not flying at sort of more non-traditional time, so the airport wasn't as crowded on a Saturday, came back on a Tuesday night, looking for those. I went to their calendar and looked for their cheapest accommodation time, and then said, can we make this work from a work perspective, instead of the reverse, which is, I can get this weekend off, let's see where I can go maybe do it the other way around. If you can take 1 or 2 days off work, find their cheapest time. January unfortunately just passed, but is a very good time to travel to hot places. February can also be a good time, because if people are going to March break, they're not doing February.
That's right.
So and actually traveling within Canada for the Family Day weekend, which also coincides for Ontarians over this weekend with Valentine's Day, can be a good time to travel because it's not a national holiday. So you can do stuff like that.
Very good.
Yeah.
Well, have a great Family Day weekend,
Thank you.
including Valentine's Day, past the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Thank you very much for joining us today, Kathy
Thanks,
Buckworth.
it was great.
Click the channel subscribe button for full-length interviews and more from What She Said here on YouTube.